Okay, everyone. Hopefully you can see the screen there. Hopefully I'm on the right monitor. You can see the mouse. Let me know. All right. Well, let's go through this market here. The euro dollar. We talked about this double bottom, and I really hope you are a part of this trade here. And we're looking to possibly trade upwards. On the upper swing, we may be reversing. So you can see this is a consolidated market. You can trade on a smaller time frame with this kind of market condition for the tops and the bottoms. You look for the break back down to the bottom, or looking for these little tails here. So you can see how it tailed down. These are kind of false break, and we're just kind of pushing upwards a little bit more. So overall, I'm looking for this market to probably trade right around this support and resistance level right here, and this be kind of like a barrier mark. So if you can look at risk to reward here, we have this to be there, to be there. So good risk reward, you know. So a possible buy opportunity on the euro dollar for several reasons. This beautiful candle pattern, the double bottom, and then what I'm looking for on the 4-hour standpoint is this trend line that we had like this, okay, and then we actually broke. So we broke this trend line. We have body, body, well, wick, body, wick, and here's our consolidation phase. So you could be in right now based on right here. And here's the break retest, and this candlestick is just sitting there. So when it breaks the trend line, it doesn't have to go all the way up directly. That's kind of the mentality that some people have. But you could be in right now as a small position just to test the waters out. And having your stop loss behind this wick low right around 1.3598. And like I said, we're looking to take this further than the origination point of the trend line. So like I said, this thing could just continue going upwards for a pretty good distance. 1-hour standpoint, this market is consolidating. Again, like I said, it is ranging, and you can see that we have been creating a higher low and higher low, and then here we have a higher low. So my interest is really to look for a break of these highs to really consider that this is looking to swing upwards. Okay, so we did talk about the double bottom on the 4-hour and 1-hour. We do have a low and a higher low. So again, like I said, my bias is that this market is looking to swing upwards. Like I said, you could be in right now, and if you want to be more aggressive on your stop loss, it would be behind this long wick here. So if this candlestick ends up white, so this could be a buy break with no spaces, and looking for this trade to continue going upwards. Okay, so like I said, this is pretty exciting stuff. This market is looking to trade upwards for, like I said, for a few days. I mean, I'm looking to hold this on, and I mean, like I said, if you're day trading, you could have made some money there, some there. But realistically, I mean, I'm looking for the obvious move, which is kind of this flag that we've created. And a flag is kind of like this triangle formation. Okay, you can say that there's like that. It looks like a flag, right? So if it does break the low here, then I'm looking to sell this off, because one thing, it is an overall downtrend. Look at the day chart. I mean, this thing has traded downwards, and this trend has probably not ended yet, because we really didn't have a really strong trend line to establish besides the 4-hour. Okay, the 4-hour we had a trend line break, and I'm looking for this price to hold above this trend line here. So like I said, my stop loss would be behind here. So if you enter here, then you can calculate your lot size and for your account size. Okay, and looking for this market to really just trade up back above this resistance area here. It may struggle in this area, as you can see on the left hand side. That's where exactly how this market has hugged that price and couldn't breach it several attempts and just dropped off. So if you look at the distance from here to here to here to here, and this is a 100-point trade, it looks pretty good. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay, looking at the Swissy, and I hope you're in. like I said, I mean, I called it up here. I said sell it off, and if you didn't sell it off, then I'm sorry. I I hope you were part of it. But let's look at the day chart, guys. It's been trending upwards, and so like I'm thinking about this pair is I think that this market is gonna reverse in a way for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's traded up for quite some time, and looking at the day chart in a longer perspective like this, um, this may be the higher low of these. Okay, and I don't know if we can establish a trend line like this. Okay, it's fitting okay. Like this is going to be the wick. Here's your body. Here's your body. So if you got in right here, you could have your stop loss above here, but like I said, it's like your trend line is your resistance. It's struggling to break this high. So what I'm saying is from here to here, which is 40 pips or a little bit more if you got into this candlestick once it closes, or if you get in right now. This is a more of a swing trade perspective, of course, is looking for this thing to possibly tumble back down to this area of support resistance. You can see this market condition, so it's not going to go there directly, like I said. It may kind of meander like this, and maybe you can kick off again and just not hit this high here. So, like I said, it may take a while for it to break down. And, I mean, looking at this area of support, I will be interested to see what happens at this price. Look at what it did here. Boom. Here, boom. Here, possibly. Boom. Okay. So here in the more of our perspective right now is looking to sell this off, meaning that the dollar is losing value against the Swissy, and looking for this to possibly break this neckline here, and another reason to get in. So if you decide to take the trade, just calculate your risk for each trade and make sure that your money management's in check and you're not over trading, which is very tempting. Here again, like I said, you could have the sell break commanded, and like I said, this candlestick, if it closes beyond this price, that would be a great entry point in comparison to stop loss to take profit ratio. Like I said, you're using this was channeling upwards on the 4 hours standpoint. You can see it's bouncing off these prices. Now it's broken, but if you don't get in now, well, there may be an opportunity possibly as a retest right around here. If you can imagine, like it's swinging back up and can't breach this higher, this last swing high here, coming back up here and struggle could be your sell opportunity. So you could actually have a pretty small stop loss in comparison of big take profit of 250 pips or more. Okay. Next thing is the 1 hour standpoint, which is, look at that. I like this because a couple of reasons. Is on the 1 hour standpoint, in a day trading perspective, there was buy opportunity there, the break of this neckline for the sell opportunity, coming back up, reversal pattern, and here is another indication of downward momentum. So we're breaking the trend line on the 4 hour, but also if you're not going to be around, you could look for the break this low right here as your entry point, and look at these tails. I mean, that's where I would probably put my stop loss. Like I said, pretty interesting stuff. And another thing I forgot to say at the very beginning of this thing, and I hope you consider it. Sorry about that. It was actually to read the disclaimer, and if you decide to take these trades, they're at your own risk, because I'm not in your personal financial situation, and like I said, Forex does carry risk, and so I'm not responsible for your winning or losing trades. Okay, that's something I'm supposed to say like every single time, but you already knew that. So here, looking at this market, we are looking for this market to possibly trade downwards because we have a high and a lower high, and it is just sitting. Okay, but I may see it consolidate then drop off. All right. What do you think about that? So here we have the break of the trend line, and it's not going to be a direct move. I would believe it to consolidate in this area, so maybe it struggle in this area. And if you can't handle the drawdown, you could look for the retest for an entry point and looking for this to sell off. Okay? The pound. Oh wow, look at this. The pound did not sell off, guys. Yet. It's confused. It doesn't know what it wants to do. Which, like I said, I already have my stop loss established. So, looking at this, it's not looking too hot. I don't like it at all. I'll be honest with you. But we've broken this trend line. Like I said, when you plan your trade, you execute your plan, and I already know what I'm willing to risk. So I'm in, and if it does go downwards, I might just close up the position for a better trading opportunity because it's dinged off the support level. And if we see a really bearish candlestick, then I'm just going to stay in. But look, depending if it consolidates for a little bit, I'm using this trend line as my barrier point as well. But I use this candlestick as well, this one right here, as a reason to get in. So I got in right around here. And I'm looking for this thing to go down, but it's still thinking. It's not really committed, which is kind of annoying, actually. But if you're not in already, that's fine. You can look for the break of this low here at 1.6708, and then maybe a retest and continue to move downwards. Okay, back to the origination point. And I actually would be interested to see what happens at this price right here at 1.6309 if and when the market gets here. And I'm interested, the 4-hour standpoint is that we kicked off the support level. And like I said, if you were day trading, then you probably would have made some money on this downfall that we talked about. But here, I mean, this is kind of a situation where you just hold on, and it's either it's going to break or it's going to hit my stop loss. Okay, and this is more of a swing trade perspective for those that are not around the charts as long. They're looking for these moves. You know, they're not going to happen that often, but when they happen, it's just exciting per se. Breaks with that trend line, break by break. You know, we talked about that. But I'm going to be interested to see if I get stopped out. I'm going to be interested to see what happens at this trend line here on the top. So if it kicks off this trend line, then I'm going to be interested to sell this off again and make another attempt, because trading, you're not going to be 100%. You're not going to win on every single trade, and you're probably just got to realize the worst. Yeah, I mean, if you plan the worst, then you know what to do for the best. Okay, and like I said, I haven't really, you know, for some people, depending if they're a scalper, they would be feared because they're trading heavy, and they might have gone right there, and then it goes against them. And some scalpers typically are scared of having a drawdown of 4 pips or 8 pips, right? Because they're looking at the 1 minute, 5 minute chart. So they get blindsided. And here, I mean, even though this trade isn't the best at the moment, you can see that we're going bearish, and we may even tremble back down and then may commit. So one thing we did talk about in the last presentation was to look at these price points, okay, for short-term trading. For the support level here, there was a possible buy, which that is the trade that you could have took, but because I was pretty busy this week, I wasn't able to look at the charts, and so I wasn't able to take that trade. But hopefully you did, okay. And here at this resistance here, there was that sell opportunity, which I did take, which was exciting because it was awesome. Okay, so here we're just drifting, but I don't think it's going to go straight down. I think it's going to meander and then pick a direction, which in that case, you know, it's you want to be less aggressive on your lot size with this kind of market where it's not decisive at all. Because this is where, you know, whipsawing and just consolidation is just not very exciting. So this market is not really having a trend, as you can see. But it's very interesting to see that we are creating a high and slightly lower high. So, that being said, this is the 1 hour. I'm looking for the day chart perspective, which is long term. And this is like a turtle, meaning that, I mean, I'm looking for this trade to maybe pan out within a week or two. So if you think of that point of view, this means I don't have to sit there and just hug my charts. Okay? USDN, I hope you took this trade because look how awesome that is. The break of this trend line, uh, boom. I mean, who wouldn't want to take that trade, right? Oh, but the question is, are you going to be there when it happens, right? Because it just takes off within hours, and you might not be around. So what I like about this market is we are really bullish. So in this case scenario, we may consolidate a little bit, maybe a little bit of pull down. We did establish a smaller trend line on the bottom here, so we may kick off of this trend line. And what I'm saying is that we may kick off, and that might be a great buying opportunity to trade it back up to resistance here at 103.98. And right around this area, I'm going to be more interested to see what happens because of this scenario. Okay, I'm going to be looking for candlestick patterns and looking for tells and just wait for the reversal pattern and maybe even do a sell start after the candle forms for that day and look for the opposite direction and trade back down towards the bottom here. Okay, let's expound on the chart here like so. So like I said, on the 4 hour, I think that trend line looks beautiful. Okay, as you saw, the day chart was wicks. So it's in this general facility. There is some buying and selling opportunities within these ranges here on a smaller time frame, like a 5 minute chart. But you just got to be more careful and just realize that you don't want to get wicked in. Like this may look like it's going down on a smaller time frame. You just need to really understand the psychological side of it, and that becomes obviously that's where the training and mentorship is obviously important because how to deal with a situation versus trading on a real money account could be a totally bit different ball game. So here on this trend line, this could have worked on the 4 hour or the 1 hour chart. So we had the break of the 4 hour, and look at this thing. I mean, 98 pips, guys. You would be happy. Or you're probably happy because you did take that trade. So we saw that this market is climbing, climbing, climbing. And we did talk about these points. Oh my gosh. When it was here, we said a pullback. But a little bit further, of course. Broke back up. Sat at that price. Little tells here. Buy. 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 So the question is, you know, where is this candlestick going to close on the day chart? Is it going to close higher than this close or this close? It's traveled up quite a bit, so I'm not really looking to sell this thing off, especially on a smaller time frame. I'm looking for a swing point that I can refer to as two tops like this maybe. You know, if this market decides to reverse for a short term, then I'm going to have a trend line to refer to for a break back up in the upward trend. Okay, so this market might consolidate, might go sideways, maybe, I mean, who knows? But this could be a buy break come out on the top. On the bottom here, I'm just thinking that this might meander and catch up towards this trend line here. So really not decisive right now. I mean, we don't have an obvious entry at the moment with this pair. So it's a pair just to not really think about. Okay, the Aussie dollar. So the day chart, what I like is we had a trendline break. We're channeling. We did talk about somewhat of a small buy opportunity, and you might have made some money off that trade. But a couple things we can see in this kind of market condition. Let me redo this. Okay, so we sat right around here, and we're sitting. and I want to know to see if it bounces off this area to trade back up and then breach this price at the top to continue going upwards. Okay, 4-hour standpoint, this market is just not too exciting. I'm sorry to say that because look at this. I mean, it's just going sideways. I mean, I think I'm going up. No, I'm going down. So on a smaller time frame, you could take a small trade opportunities with a few hour trades. Like if I kick down to the 5-minute chart, then you could have some, buying, selling opportunities. Let me swing to the front here. What I mean is there's smaller trades, like smaller trend line trades and breaks of trend lines and support lines like here. Maybe make like a 10 pip trade, 5 pip trade. Like I said, this is scalping. So with this pair, just make sure your spreads are okay to consider trading this pair because it is trading within a range. If you look at the 1 hour, it's ranging on the 1 hour. Okay, that means that on this high and this low, you're looking for these dings, ding, ding, and so on a 5-minute chart right here would actually be the opportunity that you would be considering. So this market right now is not really a swing trading market. It's more like a day trading market. So if the market came down to this support level, then I might look for a buy opportunity based on the support level here. But what I'm saying is like right here, I'm going to go down to the 5-minute, and so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Is there's not that many awesome trades, if that makes any sense. Like there's not like, wow, I need to get in. So right here there was that trend line break, right back. I mean, this was like a straightforward target type of trade. Then probably some fundamentals, of course, and pulling back down, coming back to stabilize as far as price is concerned. And then we had somewhat of a trend line break on the 5-minute chart like this. Okay, we had this swing high, this swinger low, and then a break and somewhat of a consolidation upward swing. But if you had your stop loss behind the trend line or the swing low, then you would have profited back to the origination. Let me get rid of this. Okay, so short term, what I'm looking for is possibly a buy opportunity if it broke this trend line here. I would actually like to see if it double bottoms here with this smaller time frame. And this is a 5-minute chart, so this could actually, only take about an hour or so for it to really pick a directions. And right now it's 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, so the markets are going to slow down. So what I'm looking for is possibly a meander price, and then maybe pick up during the new session here coming up. The CAD. Oh my gosh. I really hope you took the trade right here and just rid it up. 70 pips. I got it in again because I'm swing trading this thing. I was gonna say a different word. This awesome pair. Let me get rid of this thing. So we did a double bottom. We broke a trend line. We haven't retested yet, but we have a break of this high and we may retest. So if you're not in already, you could wait for this market to come back down to 1.09115 area. Maybe look for an engulfing pattern and look for it to trade back up to the top. So I'm expecting this to overall trade upwards. I'm looking for reasons for this thing to just go up. 4 hour, I like it. I mean, if this candlestick closes the way it does, I like it. I think I'm going to probably move my stop loss right here. Oh, let's see here.
Call from wireless caller.
Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so there's a high here, and it breaks up, and if it closes this way, then I'm really interested in moving my stop loss down here. Okay, for several reasons. I was already planned out that I'm going to risk that much pips. But here soon. I don't even know if that's even correct English. Here shortly, yeah. Uh, I'm looking for this thing to just climb. So if it breaks this high, I like this pattern. It's kind of like a stabilized pattern. And if it continues going upwards, then I can move my stop loss to break even, which in that case scenario, I have a risk-free trade, which ultimately that's exactly what we want to do with our trading is to eliminate our risk. Because if you eliminate your risk, you let your trades ride, you cut your losses on small trades, and then you let your winners just go. I mean, like, if this really goes, that's 100 pips, guys. I think that's a pretty good deal. But like I said, the new session and what's happening right now is making it go like this. I mean, it's just a time where market is just like kind of like it doesn't know what it wants. So what you could look for, if you're not in this already, is a retest and using this pin bar candlestick as a barrier point for your stop loss and possibly a buy limit order right here at 1.0928 and not breaking the close beyond that price and let it continue going upwards. So we have a more steep trend line as the barrier mark. So what I'm looking at is a possible kick, like a kick off this trend line or this resistance level here, and just start to just hold on to this buy opportunity. So like I said, if you were in right here and you just kept it in, then some of you are telling me that you have, or you're up a lot, and you're just using this as your stop loss and trailing stop. And so if it crosses it, then you're out. But if and then your stop loss is pretty much, well, you probably already broken even, and you're just letting this thing just take off, right? You're like, yeah, right. Here, man, did we call that? I mean, 120 pips sounds pretty good. So let's actually look at the bigger point of view. So right now, we are on an overall uptrend in a more like weekly, monthly standpoint. Even though we break a trend line, doesn't mean it reverses like this. Okay, like that. It reversed for a little bit, but doesn't mean it has to come all the way back down to the support right here, this origination point. What I like about this market is we broke this flag or triangle formation. We broke it down. We are creating this swing. So this market potentially might struggle in this area. If it breaks this high, which I believe it will long term, is this thing could go surpass this previous high. So that is 635 pips. Man, that is a long trade. But what I'm saying is you can use this market condition right now. So let me just give an example here. Here's resistance at 139.08. What we may establish is a pullback, and then this kick, look for like a pin bar, reversal candlestick pattern, something that has a tail or a pattern that we can put a stop loss behind. And this may, I mean, for short term, possibly even a 200 pip trade. Or if you decide to swing trade this, and this doesn't have to work out, but look how this trend line here, see, it never retested it. Okay, so this is like a trend line, like take profit. I mean, you can use this as your TP trend line. And this thing, you could have it just, I mean, this thing doesn't have to go to this. I mean, this thing could probably go up 600-700 pips, right? So you could enter now. You just have a lot more drawdown. But if you want to look for it to stay here, sorry about that. So here again, looking for it to pull back and then possibly just rise, and rise more and more. So we're looking for another swing low. So we have a low, a higher low, and a possibly higher low and we are looking for this market to ultimately respect this data that we've established here on the weekly and monthly standpoint. So this thing is, I mean, look at this thing. Yep. Look here. This actually looks like a pretty strong trend line like this. Like that. Look at that. I mean, it's a really nice looking trend line. We had it on with these right here, which did break, but you can think of this on this bigger time frame that this is just like a wick. It's like a reversal pattern on the bigger time frame. So on an economic note, you can check out what the euro is doing. So if you check out Bloomberg, then that's something that you could consider. But I might look for another kick off this trend line, and this may just wedge in a little bit. It is range bound, but look at this thing. I mean, it's trended upwards. So I'm actually pretty excited about this pair in a long-term perspective. 4-hour standpoint, now some of you, again, depending on your schedule, you took the break of this resistance here, and you're just happy. And you're just looking to I mean, you probably put your stop loss to break even, or behind these tails here, so you're actually up so much, and you're just letting this thing ride. You know, if it does come back and retest, that's awesome. Because it doesn't have to. What I'm looking for is a possible swing high to push back down. And then what I'm going to be looking to do is take this point and whatever swing point it does establish here on the 4-hour, then that would be my trend line break for the upward swing. I'm looking for it to trade back upwards. Or even the 1-hour. I mean, it's really a personal preference. Some people like the 1-hour just to get a better price. So right here at this general area of resistance and support level, we didn't have, after we broke out, guys, I mean, you could have got in there and you're up, whatever, or you had that trend line break that we talked about and you're just loving it, of course, because I mean, you would have like a really tiny stop loss to take profit ratio. I mean, you can even use that pin bar. Look at that candle. Stop loss there, and you're like, let this thing go. 140 pips. Oh, wow. You're like, wow. And here, we've broken this resistance. I'm getting sidetracked, guys. Here, I'm looking for this thing to possibly come back down, retest. So this could be a limit order, but you may want to just see what happens, and if it pulls back or does whatever, then you can establish something to trade back up on the upward swing, because we are on a strong upward momentum. But this may wick down just to retest, and we may just continue going up. The pound yen. I mean, this thing moves. So like I said, at the very beginning or kind of halfway is, I hope you took the trade and made money off of it, and managing the trade right. That could, I mean, some people manage it differently when they're in. So, as you can obviously see, that this was the support level that we talked about. We even talked about dinging off the price and having our stop loss there. So if you got the ding and you have the stop loss there and you just held on to this thing, you would be up 227 pips, because the 2 doesn't matter. It's a 5-digit broker. Okay, we're breaking this high. So one thing to consider is, you know, this is not really the breakout. This is just looking at the previous support resistance level here. What I'm kind of considering is to be cautious of this resistance here, because you can see how well respected it is in the past. But if the euros are all saying that we're looking to move upwards as far as strength of the currency, then I would probably be interested for this thing to continue going up and up and up. So this would be more of the trend line I would be more interested in. So kick out the trend line maybe in the future. But this is a really well respected price on the top. And this looks like a pretty strong trend line here. Let's look at the 4-hour. Man, I really hope you took that trade. I mean, here, I mean, there was like no excuse at all. I mean, broke this high, pulls back in a retest, and just cannot surpass this low, and it is just up. So some of you are like, well, how do you deal with this thing right now? I mean, it's broken this high, it's moves up so fast, so quick. Well, would you sell it off? No, there's not really a signal for it to sell off. I mean, this price right now is higher than this price, so we're not having a reversal pattern. You know, this is kind of like a false break candle. For me to really sell it off, I would have to see it break this low here to be convinced. So, in order to be convinced, I would actually look for a bounce off that price for a continued move up. So, see how it consolidated here. I'm kind of expecting more of the same thing, the same thing to happen ish. Is a consolidation. Like I'm going to look for this thing to range. So on a 5 minute standpoint, you could day trade this thing if you wanted to. It's the pound yen, bigger spreads, it moves quicker. You just got to be more cautious of that, and if your emotions are in check or your money management's in check. But I'm looking for a support here and continuation. 1 hour standpoint, this thing is just now in a more like no man's land. So it's a little bit more tough. Is that a word? To approach. So maybe that looks kind of nice, huh? That looks like a nice trend. So if it breaks this trend line, I wouldn't be interested. I would not. Okay, I would not be interested of selling this. And you're thinking like, well, it broke a trend line. Well, first off, did you see how bullish this thing is on the day chart? If it breaks a trend line, it's probably a false tell. It's like a tell, and this thing is just moving up. What I would be interested in is a pullback, like this, like pulling back and then breaking and then getting back in a break or either retest. Okay, so looking for a pullback. If it breaks it, then I'm looking for a double bottom here, or I mean this is a quadruple bottom here to trade back up. So I'm looking for some kind of pattern here, and then draw the trend line, and then look for the trade going upwards. Okay. If you guys want me to look at any pairs, let me know. But we're on the last one, and looking at the euro pound. Okay, so the euro pound here, it's like a tug of war within the euro and the pound. As you can tell, the price is very indecisive, but I'm swing trading this thing, and on my other charts, my stop loss is right around here. Um, and I'm looking for this long term. I'm looking for this thing to climb, 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 climb for many reasons, and I got in because of this trendline break. Now, it's not going to go from here to here, obviously, directly. But what I'm looking for is either this candlestick pattern to establish itself and then start to trade upwards. If it does trade upwards, that gives me the opportunity to move my stop loss behind here, and then maybe later on, maybe like let's say a week, because this is the day chart, guys. I mean, this thing is going to take a while for it to really develop. Keeping my stop loss to break even once price moves so far. Okay, so it's not moved anywhere really the last couple days. It's just gone sideways. So there's a little bit of day trading involved that you could have taken advantage of on the 5 minute or 15 minute chart. But let's look at the 4 hour standpoint. Like if you're not in this already, that's fine. I mean, this trend line could be the retest, and what I'm looking for is a bullish signal. Like I'm looking for this thing to trade upwards for some reason. Okay. Another way to look at it on the day chart, excuse me, is this may be the W formation. So this trade, I mean, like I said, sometimes when you see a trendline break, and depending on how it behaves, you could either take the trade, or you can simply look for this pattern. I mean, it's a very reliable pattern, is the double bottom situation if this is the reversal of this trend line. So this market may drop off, and this could be your neckline area right here. This becomes resistance. As you can see, it has struggled to break that price, and it may kind of meander down, and I would actually be more aggressive on my trading once it gets to this price at 0.8087 area. Okay, and so once it gets in this general facility, then I'm looking for a bullish signal, candlestick pattern, reason to buy it, or break back up. Okay, closing higher, and then a break of this high, and just, man, like I said, let's look at actually see the longer perspective. This has been on a very strong downtrend. So the idea here, I mean, look at this downtrend. So this is counter trend trading, but we've broken this trend line. This is almost like a retest of the break of this trend line. Can you see how like it broke it and it didn't really go very far? Maybe, I mean, you could have made some money off of this trade, maybe 90 pips, 80 pips, and then it continued trading downwards. So like some people get really confused about trend lines. Is just because it breaks the trend line does not mean the trend has to reverse. So you can see we're still in a strong downtrend, but what we're doing is we're having this like falling wedge formation, and you can see that this is kind of a wick on a bigger time frame. So overall, this could be more like a retest, and looking for a candlestick pattern to surpass that area here for this thing to start to trade upwards. So in reality, this is trading against the major trend, which you want to be a little bit more conservative in the fact that you're trading against the ultimate trend itself, and the likelihood of the trade not working out, possibilities are a lot lower per se. So I'm actually interested in several prices. Like I said, this could be more like a test trade that you're in, the one I took. Here is something I'm going to be interested in, is this general area is possibly it to hold on to this trend line. And if it doesn't kick upwards, then I might just get out of this trade because it's just not too exciting for me. Okay. But in order for me to really get more excited about this pair is the break of this high at 0.8145. Like I said, we are trading against the major trend, which is not the best, you know. And I actually am gonna move my stop loss up to here, which eliminates my risk level and opening risk. Okay, because I like this trend line here. I like how it's body to body wick, so it's kind of like this to be more precise, but I'm liking it like this a little bit, just to think that this market possibly may kick off this trend line and then go up. Okay, you can see right now within the last day or so, more like 3 days of data, we've consolidated with this market. So this is a turtle. Like once it goes, it can move, like it compounds. But you can see how like slow, then it rushes, right? So that's kind of where we're at. We're really in that phase. And so being patient with this pair, if you're not in, you can wait. I mean, you can wait probably a couple days for a setup of a double bottom, and that just gives you a lower risk level and a higher profitable trade opportunity to trade upwards. Okay? Is there any pairs you guys want me to look at and kind of give you my point of view of it? Some of you totally agree with some of the pairs that we traded. That's awesome. And you guys did really well, it sounds like. So someone wanted to request the Euro Aussie. Now this one, I mean, to be honest with you, just looking at the 1 hour, it's like not really a market to deal with actually. But I'll look at it for you because you requested it. Looking at the Euro Aussie, I'm just trying to think what pair we're looking at. On an economic note, the euro has gained a lot of value. Look at that thing. I mean, it's risen for a long time, and we saw that head and shoulder pattern. Look at that thing. So it's broken the head and shoulder pattern. It's retested this head and shoulder pattern. And this is another thing, guys. I mean, the scalpers or day traders, some of the day traders don't see this point of view. They do not look at this massive move. They're catching these small markets here. So this might be for you. I mean, if you're a scalper, you like these kind of range bound kind of markets, then that might be yours. But what I'm thinking here is a couple things. We may have some interest of this market to reverse and the downward slide. We may start to trend downwards. A couple things I can recognize is we have a low and a lower low and a high and a higher low. I just wanted to make sure I said that right. High and a higher low, like so. And I'm squeezing the charts so you can see the bigger point of view. This market right now is not exactly a market to even touch. What I like to do is look for the break of this low right here as a sell break command, and then I'd be interested for this thing to just plummet. I mean, start to trend downwards. And what I also think may happen is a kick off this trend line. I really this third time it's hit it twice, but it hasn't hit it 3 times. So what this market may do is see how I went sideways like this, and then it just took off. That's exactly what phase we're in. We are consolidating, and then if it breaks the trend line, it may just rush upwards and continue. It may be a continued move of this trend line, and that this becomes the swing low. Okay, but that's something that again will be decided within like a couple weeks from now. So this is long-term planning, guys. Long-term, and you can trade off the smaller time frames. Like I said, if it was 5-minute chart, you probably would have just dominated the market right there. Boom. Made some money on this side. Made a little bit there, and now it's just, yeah. It's like I mean, you probably took the double bottom trade. You might be in a little bit, but looking at this pair, just it's not just popping out at me. Like there's not too much excitement. Besides, if we have the break of the low, then that would be exciting on the day chart. 1 hour standpoint, we are. I mean, if this does push downwards really nicely, then I would like to draw this trend line. I don't like to draw this trend line right now, but we're having a falling wedge or descending triangle here, and so what I like to see, I just see the bottom here, how it dings off, dings off. I like to see what happens at 1.4573 and see if it does trade back upwards. Okay, like I said, this is on a smaller time frame, so it's ranging. We may trade back to the origination point of this trend line if it breaks, but I just do not like how these candlesticks look like. I mean, I really like to see this just push downwards and then draw this trend line. I wouldn't want to draw it right now. I would like this thing to go down first before I like to establish this trend line as the buy break command, and then use it because I might not be around. Okay. Looking at the 1 hour standpoint, look how choppy this thing is. I mean, like I said, this bottom price and this top price and maybe this price. I mean, it is going sideways. I mean, if you're scalping, man, I don't think you should scalp. I think you should just wait for this thing for it to develop something that's more obvious. A couple things I like is the low and the higher low, but like I said, this market is ranging, so it's a consolidation breakout trade, guys. So it's either going to break this high, you can look for the retest instead for a better entry, but this thing is just sideways. So these trend lines may not be effective at all. It may just be bouncing off of them. So I'm just going to stick with these prices here, these support and resistance levels, and just wait. I mean, this is a pair that I don't think I'm like way excited about. I mean, overall, I kind of have the idea that this is the double bottom and that this market may rise over this hanging man candlestick. I don't know if you can see that candle there. This one right here. So, and realistically, I like to see it close beyond this price right here at 1.4725. If it closes, you can look for the close or the retest, and then there's a buy opportunity either towards this trend line or this resistance up here at 1.500. All right. So, like I said, this thing could do a triple bottom. Who knows? If it triple bottoms, then that's a great buy opportunity to trade this up, because the overall trend is up. Oh my gosh, look at that thing. So it just consolidates and then breaks upward. So I'm actually interested in the price right. Squeeze it back down. Sorry. This will look like a great trend line. Actually, this is a great trend line. I like that. Let me get rid of these other lines here. Get away. Clean up. All right. So I would keep my stop loss right here. You can calculate your risk based on the distance of the trend line, and expect this trend line to be established and look for it to re-break upwards. Let me get rid of this line. I don't know why it's there. Let's see here. But I like it. Yeah. I mean, if it really breaks upwards, oh, because of the head and shoulder pattern. So we had a head and shoulder pattern. You probably took the breakout, but this thing does not have to go down, guys. That's something you have to consider. Is that this market may actually do this kind of like wave pattern. So it's kind of done the Elliott wave pattern. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now it may just reverse hard, harder than you expect, you know. So you can see resistance over here on the left. Let me pull this back for you so you can see that. Yeah, so we have resistance over here. I'm going to be interested in that price as well as this price right here, which is the head and shoulder pattern. Wow, interesting. So yeah, seeing how price can hold above these prices right here, and maybe even just do the triple bottom, break of the trend line, and this thing could just go straight up. Maybe you can use, I mean, you can use either one as your buy break command, but I like this one because it's hugging the price pretty good. 4 hour, like I said, we looked at the smaller time frames, just not as exciting. So it's just looking for that one trade, and it's just right now this market's not really tradable for me. That's just not too exciting. Besides, there was these other breakout trades that, I mean, that was 180 pips. You could have took the reversal pattern back down to support, 220 pips. But here, I mean, for anybody, I mean, this thing is just ugly. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining this webinar here and market projection, and I hope you are doing well. Thank you.